Once you've created your availability for the Tutoring and Academic Support Care Unit and USP Advising location, you can set up a campaign. You can do this by clicking on the campaign button on the far left side of the screen. I have a lot of different kinds of campaigns because of the roles I have in Navigate. Some of you might have multiple types, others may not. Most will probably just have this appointment campaigns option. And over in the I want to create a new, you can just click, probably the only option, appointment campaign. Campaign names are not viewable by students. You can use whatever type of name makes sense. If your office has a policy on how to name campaigns, I encourage you to use that in this campaign as well. For my campaign, I'm going to name it after the term, as well as the group of students, what I'm doing, so this is outreach, and then I'm going to put my name attached to it, just because if we all were to use this same outreach name and somebody needed to search it, like Dan or Meg, it would probably be nice for them to see whose campaign it was. For the care unit, you need to match this to the availability that you created. So it has to be that tutoring and academic support care unit. And the location has to be USP Advising, as well as the service USP Advising. All three of these things must match the availability that you set so that you're going to be visible as an advisor for this potential campaign in a few minutes when you add advisors. You can set the beginning and end dates for whatever dates work for your schedule. Some advisors will use a strategy where they create a campaign that lasts 2 weeks and they come back and edit the end date and extend it every couple of weeks. Others might decide to set the end date all the way through the end of the term. There's no right answer for how to do this. If your office has a policy on how they would like you to run campaigns, you can follow that. Since we're going to allow students to schedule more than one appointment through the campaigns, you can do the whole term if you'd like. In general, I recommend about 2 weeks because we've seen that when a campaign runs for too long, even if a student is creating just one appointment, it leads to them forgetting appointments. So I'm going to run mine through the 15th for now. I don't want students to only be limited to one appointment with this campaign. What that means is if I give them more than this limit here, they can use the same link to schedule with me again. I'm going to set it for 10. That's on the assumption that we met every single week of the term except for finals, or at this point, including finals week. And the appointment length would be 30 minutes. I don't want to meet with more than one USP student at a time, so I'm going to leave the slots per time at 1 and hit continue. When you're searching for students, you'll need to use the advanced search function because the USP students can't be assigned to you directly in Banner. So in advanced search, you can use a document that we have in the Teams with your assignment. If you just copy the 9-5 numbers, you can select all of them at once and paste them into this keyword search. It will pull back multiple results of students. To protect FERPA data, I'm going to use a fake ID number for one of our test students in this video. And I'll hit search. So you can see this is our test student with the ID. Typically, I'd be pulling back for USP about 5 students, and I would select this button up here to check all of them if they were correct, and hit Add Selected Users and search for more. Down in the yellow banner, you can see a confirmation of how many students have been added to the campaign. If you have everyone, you can hit Continue. If you need to find more folks, you can search for more people. On this next page, you can review the students in the campaign just to be sure. If there are folks that don't belong, you can remove the users from this page. If you need to add more users, you can click the button down here. If at any point you're interrupted or you have appointments you need to get to or other things come up, you can save and exit, and your campaign will be in kind of a holding pattern until you come back and complete it. I'm going to hit Continue. I do want to say that the last few times I've been setting up a campaign, on this particular page, there has been a loading screen that happens. This is normal if you're loading hundreds of students, but when it's 4 or 5, it usually just means that you have to hit the refresh button on your page, and then you'll see the list and be able to hit continue. Since you'll have set up your advising availability first, you'll show up on these options of organizers or advisors for the particular campaigns. You'll want to select yourself, so I'm going to select Megan Flanagan, and then you can hit continue. Along with help from Dan and Meg, I will be creating some message packaging that you can use to have a title, some messages in the document body here, and also instructions for the landing page. For now, I don't have those created, so I'm going to leave just kind of the standard stuff since I also don't have a real student in here. You can preview your email down in this space and preview your landing page here as well. Any notes or instructions that you type, go up in a yellow banner on the page, on the landing page that a student will see. Typically, I include reminders around including their cell phone number and hitting the submit button because those are the most common issues that students tend to forget to include that information, or they think they've scheduled, but they never finish clicking all the buttons, so they weren't finished. Once you have your messaging and your landing page notes the way you'd like them, you hit continue. You can double check all of the information for your campaign here. You can go back to different pages across the top at any point in time by clicking these blue links above the title of your campaign. You can view the email preview, view those you're inviting, and view yourself or who the organizers are. If you need to leave, again, you can click Save and Exit, or you can send the campaign. Normally, at this point, I'd hit Send. But since I both have a fake message and a fake student attached, I'm not going to hit that button at this time. But you'd be ready to send this along. If any questions come up, if you want me to assist you, you can reach out via email, via Teams, or set up a meeting with me so we can do this together. Thanks for everything you're doing for USP students, along with all the other students that you're working with. I know it's a busy time of year, and it's so appreciated all that you're doing. Thanks so much.